Hello everyone and welcome to Priyanka Fabulous. And today we are going to learn about what and how to write a précis. And also we are going to learn the difference between a précis and a paraphrase. आज हम लोग सीखेंगे कि एक précis कैसे लिखा जाता है, एक précis क्या होता है और एक précis और एक paraphrase में exactly क्या फर्क, क्या अंतर होता है. Okay? And also we are going to take an example and find out what exactly we have to keep in mind while writing a précis. Okay, let's start with what is a précis. Précis is a summary. Okay, so I'll just share the screen with you guys so you guys can more comfortably enjoy and understand with me, that is Priyanka. Yeah. So first and foremost thing, a précis is a summary. It is a gist. Gist is also a summary of any passage expressed is in as few words as possible. हो सके तो एक प्रेसी को 1/3 से 1/2 के बीच में होना चाहिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर 500 वर्ड्स का तुम्हारा पैराग्राफ है तो एक प्रेसी करीब करीब ऑलमोस्ट यू कैन से 150 वर्ड्स से लेकर 250 वर्ड्स के बीच में होनी चाहिए. ठीक है. Précis should give all the essential points so that anyone who is reading it can understand the idea that is expressed in the original passage. इसका मतलब ये है कि हमें ओरिजिनल पैसेज को प्रेसी द्वारा शॉर्ट में समझाना है. जैसे कि हम बच्चों को कैसे समझाएंगे कि इस बुक में ना ऐसे समरी में लिखा है, तो उस तरह से ही हमें प्रेसी लिखना है. नाउ प्रेसी राइटिंग एंड डिफरेंस फ्रॉम पैराफ्रेज. In paraphrase you cannot leave out any detail. एक भी डिटेल हम छोड़ नहीं सकते हैं, चाहे वो कोई नाम हो, कोई सिचुएशन हो, कोई सर्कमस्टेंस हो, एक भी डिटेल हम नहीं छोड़ सकते हैं. बट पैराफ्रेज जो है वो शायद पैसेज से भी बहुत बड़ा हो जाता है. उसमें ये पता चलता है कि हमें पैराफ्रेज में सब के सब डिटेल्स देने पड़ते हैं, including suppose हम let us take an example of Tipu Sultan and the war of India's independence. तो हम लोग इंडियाज इंडिपेंडेंस के ऊपर बात तो करते ही हैं, साथ में टिप्पू सुल्तान कौन है ये हमारे हिस्ट्री से हम उसमें डाल सकते हैं, वो हो जाएगा पैराफ्रेज. एंड जो दिया है उसे संक्षेप में यानी समरी में लिखने को हम प्रेसी बोलते हैं. ओके. प्रेसी जो है वो हमेशा 50% और 70% से बीच में आती है. मेन थीम हमारी डेफिनेटली प्रेसी में रिफ्लेक्ट होनी चाहिए. एक बात ध्यान में रखना गाइस, यू हैव टू ऑलवेज राइट अ प्रेसी सॉर्ट ऑफ लाइक हाउ यू विल अंडरस्टैंड द पैसेज एंड एक्सप्रेस इट इन योर वर्ड्स. बट इन योर वर्ड्स का मतलब ये नहीं कि तुम उसका मीनिंग ही बदल दो. द थीम, द सेंट्रल आइडिया एंड द circumstances should remain the same. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, so now I will give you an example. हमारे पास ये पैराग्राफ दिया गया है जो 446 वर्ड्स का है. Can you see it here? This paragraph is 466 words long. इसमें टाइटल दिया गया नहीं रहेगा कभी भी, एंड हमें ईच एंड एवरी जो है पॉइंट वो समझ के लेना होगा. अब इस पैराग्राफ को हम ध्यान से पढ़ते हैं. ओके. द स्टेट ऑफ एजुकेशन इन इंडिया बिफोर द ब्रिटिश ऑक्यूपेशन, unfortunately a favorite subject for political dissertations. This has led to certain confusion of thought about types of indigenous teachings, of which 3 were of importance in the 18th century. The ideal training for Brahmin youth is of great antiquity and represents high standard of education. After assuming the sacred thread at the age of 8, the boy would spend 14 years away from the home under personal supervision of Guru or in the forest ashram. Such upbringing was always confined to small and high privileged class and was probably common only in the heyday of Brahminism. This is not the type of education in which government could take part, though the traditional relation between Guru and Chela might be an inspiration to the university teachers, as it had been to Rabindranath Tagore in his ashram at Shanti Niketan. 2 other institutions catered for a wider but limited range of boys. They were Muslim and Hindu schools, which were common in the town and larger villages. Both suffered during the 18th century from the continual disorder which disturbed most part of the peninsula, but they were formed in many districts. When they came under the British rule and their work and scope are described in the early reports, most of them were of primitive nature, attached to temple or mosque. This meant the exclusion of lower caste and primitive tribes, and typically of the early attitude of the government towards the elementary education that almost the first elementary state schools were for the children of bhils, goans and criminals whose parents could not send them to the religious schools. Muslim taught the Quran and Persian to a few older boys, but there is little evidence about standard of teaching in Punjab, which was annexed later. You know that Punjab was attached later, okay? Then indigenous education, which surveyed a more modern Eve, the Hindu school, says a Punjab administrative report were rare. Either colleges Brahmin boys learned Sanskrit and received half religious, half professional training, or elementary schools where son of Hindu shopkeepers were taught to keep accounts, read and wrote the trader script. The few Gurumukhi schools that existed were of purely religious character. The best features of the indigenous school was that they were not confined to the religious and mercantile class, but open to few agriculturists who cared to attend them. These schools continued to function and some of them have survived till today, but they only reached a small portion of the population. इस बारे में अगर हम पढ़े अभी ये 466 वर्ड्स का पैराग्राफ, तो we understand that the central theme is the type of education before the British rule. But यहाँ पे बात करते समय उन्होंने पेनिनसुला मुस्लिम एंड क्रिश्चियन स्कूल्स की बात की है, इसलिए ब्रिटिश स्कूल से पहले का है ये से बोल नहीं सकते हैं, because Christian schools also came after the British rule. So we should not include before British rule or after British rule in the title. The first thing you have to do in a Pressy is give a title. So what we did is exactly that. We gave a title, State of Education in India. That is the title that we gave. So in our words we have to write everything. तो यहाँ पे state of education पता चलता है कि पहले religion और ये attached थे, brahminical system थी, and बाद में जब मुस्लिम एंड क्रिश्चियन स्कूल्स आए तो बाहर की कम्युनिटीज भी आ पाई. ये सेंट्रल थीम है स्टेट ऑफ एजुकेशन का, विद एन एग्जांपल ऑफ रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर जी's नवनिकेतन. So we will see how we wrote this. अभी 466 means we have to complete it within 230 words at the most. 50% से कम होना चाहिए एक प्रेसी. तो हम अभी लिख चुके हैं. So let us just read it out. It has become so common to write on the state of education in India before the establishment of British rule that subject was somewhat observed. Three distinct types of education are, however, discernible in the 18th century. There was Brahminical system reminiscent of the old days, where boys of tender age were entrusted to a guru for receiving education in Guru's ashram. This type of education, often of high standard, was open to privileged few and free from government influence. Other two types of school, Muslim schools and Hindu schools, institution attached to mosque or temple. They were found in towns and large villages and consequently did not escape unharmed whenever there were political disorders. The education imparted by them were of religious nature, and secular education, if taught at all in Hindu schools, was confined to lesson in keeping accounts and reading of the trader's script. The lower caste and aboriginal tribes had no access to the schools, which served a very small fraction of the population, and traces of them may still be seen. In contrast, the earliest education efforts of the British rulers was open school for the children of bhils, goans, and criminal effort of the British rulers. Total words we have done are 226. So guys, half the number of words at least, at the most, not more than that, please. And we have not missed anything. The lower caste names, we have not missed Hindu schools, religious type of schools, attachment to mosques and temples, and political influence and government's influence. There is no need to mention anybody's name. You guys can add one line of Rabindranath Tagore's Navniketan if you like, but no more than that, okay? Yeah. So today that is what we have understood from Pressy writing. I will in the end say only one thing. There should be 3 readings that you do during any kind of Pressy writing. Read every word very slowly and carefully. You have to understand the sense of the passage. Look for phrases and allusions. Identify which is the central idea. एंड व्हाट इज द स्पेस टू गिव थॉट. कौन से वर्ड्स नए हैं, फ्रेजेस है क्या, तो क्या हम उन्हें सिंपल वर्ड्स में लिख सकते हैं. स्लोली एंड केयरफुली सेंस ऑफ द पैसेज, डोमिनेटिंग आइडिया पहचानिए. कौन सा स्पेस है, कितना दे सकते हैं, एंड हेडिंग क्या दे सकते हैं. पेंसिल से अंडरलाइन कीजिए थोड़ा थोड़ा कौन से थॉट्स इंपॉर्टेंट है. री रीड द सिलेक्शंस एक बार कि क्या मैं बराबर लिखी हूँ. एंड फाइनली ड्वेल ऑन द इम्पोर्टेंट फैक्ट्स. प्लीज अपने हिसाब से समरी ऑफ थॉट्स सोचिए, कंपेयर कीजिए ओरिजिनल के साथ, एंड 3 चीजें पूछिए अपने आप को. लॉजिकल ऑर्डर में क्या मैंने थॉट्स लिखे हैं, डोमिनेटिंग थॉट्स है क्या, कोई इसेंशियल फैक्ट्स नेम्स वगैरह कुछ चूक गया है क्या, सेंटेंसेस क्लियर है क्या. एंड हमेशा हमेशा पंक्चुएशन एंड थर्ड पर्सन राइटिंग चाहिए. कोई भी अगर इन्वर्जन में लाइन है तो वो इन्वर्जन में इंक्लूड नहीं हो सकती है इन प्रेसी. प्लीज हर राइटिंग थर्ड पर्सन में होनी बहुत जरूरी है. यू हैव टू यूज द थर्ड पर्सन एंड यू हैव टू यूज द पास्ट टेंस. यू हैव टू मेक नो grammatical errors. Okay, correctly and concisely you have to express the essential points. हियर इट इज नॉट आस्क्ड कि आप एग्री करते हो कि नहीं कोई थॉट से. नहीं, आप एग्री करो अथवा ना करो, लेकिन आपको ओरिजिनल थॉट्स को वैल्यू देना बहुत बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. प्लीज. ओके, सो आई होप यू गाइज एंजॉयड द लेसन and lecture on Prezi writing. I hope you guys keep coming to Priyanka Fabulous. Thank you so much for listening to my lecture. Jai Hind. Namaste India.